This is the final video in our series analyzing the macroeconomic effects of widespread tariffs on an economy. Just to walk you through one quick time, higher tariffs are higher costs and higher taxes on foreign goods and services, which raises the cost of inputs. The higher cost of inputs raises net exports and increases aggregate demand as consumers shift away from foreign goods and buy more domestic American goods in the American economy, which is where I am. That increases aggregate demand. In our diagram, we had here aggregate demand shifted out to the right, pushed prices up and output up. But the higher cost of imports also go into production, and so that raises the cost of production, which lowers the aggregate supply curve. So demand moved out, but supply moved back, lowering output again, but pushing up the price level a second time. So for sure, our initial prediction is we don't know what happens to output, but the price level should be higher because you're forcing everybody to buy more expensive goods. Now, that higher price level gets built into expectations. As a worker, I'm now facing, and my family are facing, higher prices at the pump. We're facing higher prices at the grocery store, at the store where I buy my clothes, across the board. So I negotiate with my employer to get a higher salary in the future based on my expectations of the price level remaining high or going even higher based on what's happened as a result of these tariffs. Everybody in the economy behaves the same. So all companies now see higher cost pressures on the wage and labor side. They push them along. So every company now sees from their supply chain upward price pressure. So all of their input costs are starting to go up, and they cut back on supply. This restricts aggregate supply a second time. In our diagram then, we increased aggregate demand, we decreased aggregate supply, pushing price up twice, and moved it back a third time. So we definitely predict from the tariffs higher price level. We had 3 predictions of a higher price level. Looks pretty confident. And output, it depends on how I drew it, but in all likelihood, you're going to get a decline in real GDP. Now, in reality, you're not going to probably get a decline in real GDP. You'll get a slowdown in GDP growth. Okay? So the fundamental prediction from a macroeconomics point of view of the tariffs is higher price level, noticeably higher price level, and a slowdown in GDP growth, which means a little bit of an increase in unemployment as well. How does the economy respond to this from then on out, okay, to this new world of higher tariffs?